state your name.
My real name or my bulletproof name?
My name is Sean, but they call me the Finisher.
We're gonna animate some.
You better.
Well, my name is Mercedes, but apparently my bulletproof name is Linda.
My name's Corey, and here at Bulletproof, I'm known as Snuffy.
Snuffy, be careful, you're gonna knock the computer over.
I'm Puddin'. I'm Jessica, and I was Rita Repulsa. I made the majority of Ranger Slayer, and I dabbled in Draken.
I made Goldar, and it was fantabulous.
Do the voice.
Master, the Rangers are approaching!
But I was Lord Zed. But I literally worked on every single costume, the set, designing the backdrop, making all the merchandise. All the credit, it's all me. That's tough. The most screen accurate Zed costume, hands down. I'd have to go with the helmet though. Once it was chromed, I was,
Not the corset.
No, it was not the corset. I liked my headpiece because that's what I worked most on.
I loved this beautiful mask sculpt that I had done. It had been years before I'd sculpted, years since I've sculpted. Many moons ago, since the last time my hands have felt clay. But it was painted by Sean, also known as the Finisher. Lovely, beautifully.
I think my favorite part of the costumes was having the helmet on because I don't know what to do with my face sometimes. Yeah, so there's that.
oh, everything. The muscle suit was such a pain. Something we've never tried before. So we discovered this stuff called foam clay, which is a clay that when it cures, it's an EVA foam. It just worked and it was so beautiful. But the problem we ran into was we didn't have enough. All the websites were out of stock. That took the project back at least three weeks to a month.
There was one night in particular where I'm like, I'm gonna get all of the foam cut out. I literally cut every single finger on both of my hands within like 2 hours. So I actually got cut off from crafting that night.
8 days was the worst that happened to my suit. I had started my costuming by making pieces of armor for like airsoft games and things. So I was like, don't worry, I can do Goldar in a couple of weeks. It'll be fine. Let's focus on where we need attention. And before I knew it, I only had 8 days before the con was done and all we had was just the face. It wasn't painted. We had a resin mold and some hopes and dreams. What about the visors?
So there was a little bit of a gap, but the funny part was that I hot glued them. If you're thinking about doing a helmeted costume, it's very foggy in there, so the hot glue actually started to come up after the first day with the pooling of the sweat. The boobs.
Boobs.
Oh, yeah, the straps. Pardon me. The straps!
Whoa.
They kept coming undone.
I have a question.
Can you let her finish?
Take 3. The straps! They kept coming undone, so I'd just be standing there and everything would be all fine, and then all of a sudden just boop, and I had no cape!
The casts were rough. So there was a lot of polyester putty, a lot of Bondo, and more sanding than I care to recall. Draken, as well as Ranger Slayer, the helmet that's on them is actually House of Colors paint for automotive. So, I mean, granted the helmets only took like a day a piece, but...
What was that?
So, rewind. So, granted, like if I had the time, one helmet would take me 1 full day to finish, but it took me like 2 weekends to get both of them done.
Man, I learned so many techniques. Sculpting, like resin holds hot glue very nicely, and I think I want to use it more often. Not to mention the foam clay skin we used for Zed. I got much better at vinyl wrapping, even though we had a bunch of crappy vinyl wrap that we had to mix with good vinyl wrap. But I am a much better wrapper.
Alright, so I sculpted the putty masks. That was my first time sculpting in over 5 years, so I was very nervous. Luckily, the putty is very simple. So we had my best friend Johnny play a putty, and he just knocked it out of the park. He was interacting with people, like, he's just phenomenal. But that got me back into mold making, casting, did up the power coins, made silicone molds, and then I molded Goldart's face and the teeth, and it made me really appreciate and love my roots of special effects. Talk about you learning how to vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
I did not learn how to vinyl wrap. Corey is the vinyl wrap master, but granted, my chest piece was all carbon fiber vinyl wrap, which I was able to do, but there are plenty of seams in it where Corey, he's able to just peel and stick an entire portion to get like no seams. I am not that fortunate.
Back in 2013 when I first did Zed, that Zed costume, it's okay, it's the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers. It's been 5 years since I've done this. We need to have Zed's throne room, so we need to have a stage, big fan. I originally wanted to build the wall with an oscillating fan, but again, time management is important. Corey and I spent 2 weekends and we just banged it out. We had slight blueprints of like, okay, it has to be 6 feet out, but 10 feet, but if we do that, it's gonna make an oval, so now we have to extend, like, it was all over the place, but we built it in my backyard, which is an uneven ground, which is, do not recommend doing that, but we did it. Now that we have that knowledge, we can kind of even push our limit on our knowledge for that and say, okay, well, what can we do next?
Obviously, anytime a little kid came over and I got to hold their hand was super special. There's like a little girl in a tutu that Mercedes and I both like got her to be unafraid because we were like, we love your tutu. We wish we had a tutu. You want to come hold our hand? And she did, and it was great. We were directly across from the doors, so anytime I saw somebody walk in, immediately stop whatever they were doing just to look and be like, oh my god, was amazing. Can you bleep that out? I don't want to say the word.
But like Jess said, kids were fantastic. There was this one little baby who was absolutely terrified of me. And every time, like, stop crying, and just peer over his shoulder, and I would be with this thing waving, like. But no, winning the costume contest was great because I had never won anything like that before. Because I'm what you call a noob.
Aside from the shout out from JDF and like getting all of that, I would have to say when we were taking photos, I saw this one little girl kind of run up. Come to find out, like, Pink Ranger was her favorite, and so like she like plopped herself right next to me, and I had to like pick her up and put her on the stage, but I got to crouch down and made her day, made my day, so that was fun.
Definitely meeting JDF with all of his love and support was huge. Winning the costume contest was huge because that cemented that we did it. We were like the best. But honestly, it's just all the love the fans gave us. That whole weekend was amazing.
Don't procrastinate.
Finish it!
Finish it!
Time management.
Don't procrastinate. It's not good for anybody.
Did I mention 8 days? Yeah, life happens and it puts you back, and you need to find a way to counteract the setbacks with the step forwards, or else 8 days happens. I managed to do this in, I don't know how I did it, youth.
Everybody looked like death sitting on the floor Sunday after loadout. People were crying.
I didn't.
It was a long weekend, and it was a long year, and all of that suffering, all of that stress, all of the doubts. You just sit on that floor and surrounded by your friends who just supported your dream and be like, that was worth it.
Still didn't cry. So close.
I was on the floor crying. I was so tired.
We know you're not leaving. We got you locked in for next year. So.
Yeah, y'all should be excited for next year. Dyeing my hair for the occasion.
Oh, spoilers.
Spoilers.